Welcome back. It's Fantasy Sports today on SportsGrid, our second hour of the show up until 11 a.m. Eastern. George and Craig back with you talking some fantasy football here on the show. Also take a look at the odds, too. I think that's fair to do. And today we're going to focus in this hour on the AFC East as we take our first look at some of the teams involved. And it's a very close race, at least according to FanDuel. That has not been the case over the last few years. The Buffalo Bills have been heavy favorites to win the division, and one of the teams very heavily favorited to win the Super Bowl. That has changed with the loss of Stephon Diggs. The Bills are plus 165 to win the East. The Jets are plus 170. The Dolphins are plus 220, and then no one thinks New England's going to be in the mix, but we show them for posterity. Josh Allen's season last year was once again pretty much out of this world. I know he threw a lot of interceptions, and if you lose points for picks in those leagues, that's always going to be a factor, George, and I want to mention that too. 18 interceptions. If you minus 2 on those, that's 36 fantasy points lost in some leagues. But when you're rushing for 15 touchdowns last year and 29 passing touchdowns, it really doesn't matter. But the big but, who's it going to be at wide receiver this year for the Buffalo Bills? It's not like they replaced Stephon Diggs with any viable wide receiver. A lot of young guys going to play. We saw some guys come on at the end of last year, but the idea a couple of years ago that Gabe Davis was just going to step in, that's gone. George, for him to throw 29 touchdown passes, I feel like they got to have somebody talented there, no?
I think this is the big worry. I think Josh Allen once again has to have another MVP season. Probably he might not. He said in an interview yesterday that he doesn't want to use his legs as much. Good luck with that. Good luck, because I think you may have to use it more to move this offense here. You don't have I like James Cook, and in one of my home leagues, I'm going to keep him. And I think he's a 6th round keeper. I'm keeping him, so I like James Cook. But we're not talking Thurman Thomas in his prime here. All right, so not a great running game. I am a Dalton Kincaid guy. All right, so I think he's going to be the focus point of the offense, of the passing offense here, Craig. I don't think it'll be the wide receivers. I like Keon Coleman, but I don't know if he's going to hit the ground running in year one. Other than that, it's Khalil Shakir, Curtis Samuel, Marquez Valdez-Scantling.
Oh, no, not again.
Chase Claypool.
No.
It's like, let's throw some mud against the wall and hope something sticks that didn't stick for another team. All right? I mean, I like Josh Allen, but, man, I guess if you were asking me who I have the faith in most, I think Keon Coleman's going to be good eventually. It's probably Curtis Samuel. He's the pro. Right, the sort of the guy who catch some balls here, but fantasy wise,
I don't know.
No, that's amazing. Josh Allen and like I said, Dalton Kincaid. He's a tight end 1. I'll grab Dalton.
He's got to be. Yeah,
that's it. He better be.
So they lost Diggs, they lost Gabe Davis, they lost Sherfield. Look, I was so hot on this show a couple of years ago on Gabe Davis. I was so wrong. So I just am not going to plant my flag on him ever again. 7 touchdowns last year, I get it, but what were those, all in one game? I'm going to guess he had 7 touchdowns in one game last year, Gabe Davis, honestly. Diggs did not have a great year either, so I guess the question is Keon Coleman, George, going too low? It's the big rookie wide receiver conversation. If you have 10 rookie wide receivers that are highly touted going into a year, you're probably going to get half that are going to be good, and then you're going to get half, and you're going to say he's Quentin Johnson, like or Jalen Reagor. You don't know. It's hard. It's like a 50-50 deal here. Which side are you on the 50-50 side for Coleman?
I actually don't even think it's 50-50. I think it's less than that, by the way. And my other problem is going to be, without any, I might feel differently if they had a true number 1 on the other side. Okay, no one's worried about Coleman. He's going to get the number 2 cornerback, that sort of thing. I mean, there's going to be some focus on him. There's nobody. I don't think anybody's worried about Khalil Shakir, fast guy. Samuel's the more your slot guy, and MVS is just your deep guy. Maybe he catches the ball, maybe he doesn't here. So I like Keon Coleman. Granted, a part of this not a part of like him is I like watching the interviews with him. The guy's funny. He's got personality. So good for him. You can tell you where to buy a winter jacket. I like that. That being said, I'm staying away. I just don't see it. If he hits, it'd be great for Buffalo. They need him to hit here. But I'll be staying away. We're talking regular leagues here, redraft leagues. I'm not talking a keeper league or a dynasty league. That changes some things. All right, we're talking that kind of league, then I move Keon Coleman up because I do think eventually he will hit. I think he will be good for the Bills. I'm just not all that thrilled about it being this year. I'm not willing to pay up for it. He's there around 12, around 13, fine, I'll grab him. But I don't think I would take him in the single-digit rounds.
Okay, so let's play this game real quick. So Josh Allen, George, I'm going to ask you a series of questions. Let's see if we can get to the bottom of it. So he threw 29 touchdown passes last year. Do you think that he goes over or under that number this year? Do you think it's around there? What number would you say? We're just going to play this game here, see if we can get this sorted out.
I mean, that's only a little bit more than 1.5 a game. He should get that. That's not asking a lot.
29. Okay.
If I had to go over under, I'd probably go under though.
Okay, so now here's the next question. So if he had 29, they're going somewhere. So will any one player on the Buffalo Bills, George, have 10 touchdowns this season? Do you think that? Yes or no?
No. I think he's going to have to spread it around, so no. Kincaid will be the one guy who's maybe, but I doubt it.
Okay, so now we're getting to the bottom of this. So if one wide receiver this season has 8 touchdown receptions, right? That has to be, George, it has to be. If you're giving Josh Allen 29, someone's got to have 8. Who is the guy that's going to have 8 on the Buffalo Bills?
I think Kincaid has the most. You did say wide receiver, though. Do I have to pick a wide receiver?
There's got to be 2. No. You can't do that. You said Kincaid probably has 10. There's still 29. There's still 19 more. There's still someone's got to have 8 or 7.
Cook will get a couple. Okay. Samuel, I think Samuel will be my guy. That he'd be the reliable guy, the trustworthy guy.
So maybe he's the undervalued guy. That's what I'm saying. I'm not playing that game that someone's going to have 15 if he has 29. I'm not doing that. I've seen that story before. But what I'm saying is that someone's got to have 5, 6, 7, and that means it's an every other week starter in fantasy, like a wide receiver 3 or flex. I'm just trying to understand who that's going to be because I don't see it at all.
I think it's why I don't think they win the division. It's why their win total is 10.5. I'm not touching it. I know Gabe Morency was the biggest, but they're going to 12 games. Okay, Gabe, good luck with that. Have you seen your schedule? You seen your wide receiver core? I think they're a playoff team, so I think that. I don't think they win the division, though. It was a plus 165. Out of that number, I'll take Miami at plus 220, by the way, just because the value's there. All right, so I'll take that. I think all 3 of these teams are all about even. They all have good points, all have bad points here. Buffalo, I think, is a very good defense. I think that'll keep them in a lot of games. But I think Josh Allen's value is going to come with his legs again. He's going to have to run. He's going to have to. I know he doesn't want to take those hits. I just don't think he has a choice this year.
Yeah, Buffalo was just more of a significant favorite the last 2 years to win the division going in, and they were one of the Super Bowl favorites the last couple of years too, and they're just not where they were. So I guess the question is, as we wrap this up, do you think that the Bills make a trade for a wide receiver at some point this season? And then as we're going to hit on the Jets, the one thing I'm going to say, and I want to talk about this next too, is for some reason, George, every single whisper seems to indicate that Davante Adams is not going to be on the Raiders when they start their season and is going to be on the Jets. So I guess I would ask, as we get ready for that, is there a chance that Adams is on Buffalo to start the season? I don't know what is going on with this Adams situation. It's very weird.
It is very strange here. I don't think so, by the way. I think he's going to be a Raider. If he was going to be traded, why wouldn't Vegas have done this at the draft time where you could have gotten picks for this year? Now you're going to get picks for next year. How does that help you now? So I don't think so. I'll say Adams stays there. Listen, they could bottom out, be 1-5 by the trade deadline, and then they do move him. Fine. I don't have an issue with that. But if I had to guess to start the season at the very least, he's on the Raiders. We'll see at the trade deadline here. But let's remember, this isn't baseball. It's football. I don't know if I'd care if they moved. What kind of chemistry? Do you know the offense? It'd be a problem.
Yeah. All right, we'll talk about the Jets coming up next.
Recently, I feel like I'm not doing anything wrong. I'm not making bad swings. I don't feel like I'm making terrible decisions, and just had got a little bit of a streak of bad luck on par 5s. Didn't birdie any of them at the Open, didn't birdie any of them today. It's just, and I didn't feel like I did anything terribly wrong, right? But that's just golf. It happens. What's done is done, and this week is the most important week of the year right now.
If he lands it pin high, he's going to be off over the pin position and leave himself a tough putt there. That should bite now. He didn't like it by the looks of it, but he'll love it when he sees it.
Just get this before that bunker. Put himself in a good position.
Just a tiny little baby fade, ideally placed.
To tie the lead at 16. Oh, he's playing well, isn't he, John Rahm?
And OMG, what a championship Sunday we just witnessed.
Win, right? Selfishly, you always want to get that done, but you don't want to see a teammate and a good friend, missing a putt for that happening for me.
The Live Golf League delivers every single event, doesn't it? I mean, what an incredible finish there. You know what, Tyrrell Hatton, I feel for him. He's been playing beautiful golf. In fact, since Miami, he's been the best player in our league based on the strokes gained metric.
I'm really happy that I had my first Live Golf win. Now that Kelly and the kids are watching, just knowing that I'm bringing the trophy home for them, it feels good to say that it's coming home.
Welcome back to Fantasy Sports Today here on SportsGrid. A year ago this time, the New York Jets were projected to either finish second or third in the AFC East. They had a high season win total. It was all surrounding the acquisition of Aaron Rodgers. And George, we're right back in that spot again this year. Here we go. It was very hard to know what to expect. Guy hasn't played in a full year. Hearing all the right things, which I suppose we're going to. But for me, and again, I'm not anti-Jets at all. I'm just trying to be pragmatic about the situation. I guess I'll just maybe be wrong at the end of the season. I'm just not buying this. I think the Jets will be okay. They can't be any worse at quarterback than they were last year. It was horrific. But is Rodgers Brady? If he is, it's going to be a great year. But if he's not, how much better is it going to be than last year? I mean, how many games did they win? 6? Maybe they win 9? I don't know. I'm just not bullish on this.
Well, it all comes down to Aaron Rodgers. All right, as you said, he pretty much hasn't played football in 2 years. Right, missed all. He played 3, 4, 5 snaps on game 1 last year before suffering the Achilles tear. So, how's he going to be? I don't think they need him to be the Aaron Rodgers of Green Bay, the MVP guy, but they need him to be at least 80, 85% of that, if not more. This team, the defense we know is great, right? It is really, really good. The offense could be good. All right, you have Aaron Rodgers. Breece Hall, very good running back 1. Garrett Wilson, wide receiver 1. All right, so it's there. You don't have much behind Garrett Wilson. You don't really have a tight end that we're to think about there. And the offensive line is a work in progress, shall we say. All right, so there are some things to worry about here, but it all goes down to Aaron Rodgers. I think he could be good, but then again, this guy's a narcissist I love the way he says, by the way, we can't cause any distractions here. And then he didn't show up for mandatory minicamp. Okay, sure. And this guy is a walking distraction. All right, so I don't know what we're going to get from him. I don't. Actually, if it's the Aaron Rodgers, if he's 85% of the future Hall of Famer, Jets going to be a good team. They're going to be a problem. If he's less than that, we're talking 70. As you sort of just said, they won 6 games last year. They'll be better with Aaron, no doubt. They had no quarterback last year. That might get him to 8, 9 wins, a wild card consideration there. So I don't think we all know what we're going to get here. There is hope. There's a lot of hope in New York, by the way, that Aaron Rodgers is going to be that guy. But that's normal. That's what the fan base does, right? There's always hope, no matter who your quarterback is. Hell, they thought Zach Wilson, he'll figure it out this year, right? So we'll see. This is a work in progress. But the defense will allow them to be able to get off to a slow start and still be competitive. Look at the schedule here. You play San Fran week 1. I mean, Damn. Talk about in San Fran, by the way. You'll be tested right away. At Tennessee's no fun either. But their schedule gets a little easier. You know, you play New England, Denver, Minnesota in a 3-game stretch, all at home.
Yeah,
They play
not bad.
4 home games in a row. They play Buffalo at home as well.
Wow,
So,
4 in a row. That's a lot.
yeah, that's unusual. But 4 in a row there.
All right, Garrett Wilson is their top guy unless Devontae Adams comes to town. Again, that's just been a rumor going on. I don't know why, but maybe there's something to it. We know players get traded right before the season begins. Every year there's surprises, so maybe that's in the cards here. But Wilson, without any quarterback last year, essentially had over 1,000 yards, only 3 touchdowns because there were no touchdowns to be scored with the New York Jets. 95 receptions as well, and this is like the one player that, you know, Breece Hall can't go much higher in fantasy, but Wilson can. And you would think that if Rodgers is healthy, as you're saying, and he has an 85% Rodgers season, we're going to be seeing Garrett Wilson being drafted in the first round in fantasy next year.
Yeah. Although next year, will Rodgers still be there?
That's true, too.
You know, that would be I don't know if Rodgers wants to be here, and if the Jets don't do well, maybe Rodgers moves on. I don't think he's going to retire. This is going to run for VP again. I know that ridiculousness, but you know, Lazard, they say, is having a good training camp, and once again, he seems to have something with Aaron Rodgers. Maybe that'll work out here. Lodos, he was a complete zero last year. Mike Williams on the PUP. I don't think we're going to see the true Mike Williams until maybe next year. You come back from the ACL. That just takes a long time to really become yourself again. And Breece Hall. This team is going to rely on Rodgers, Breece Hall, and Garrett Wilson. If any one of them go down or are not themselves this year, I don't see much happening for the Jets here. This is really a 3-man offense team. They need to stay healthy. They need to be productive, these guys here. I love Garrett Wilson. I think I have him at 8th overall in my personal rankings. I think that's about right. Could he get higher? Sure, but I don't know if I'm going to put him over. He's not going to get to A.J. Brown territory. I don't see that happening. So I think he's slotted correctly there. I think he will have a big season here. But like I said, he's going to see a lot of double coverage. He's seeing the number 1 cornerback for every team. Every team is putting number 1 on or rolling the coverage his way. You know, he's going to see that. Let's see what he can do.
And as far as Breece Hall is concerned, he's unaffected by all this stuff, George. I think, again, it's health related with every player in the NFL. But with this player in particular, George, you can close your eyes and dream a little bit about this guy being the best player in fantasy football at the end of the season. I think he's a fantastic player.
I agree. I don't know. Listen, he's a top 3, top 4 running back. We know McCaffrey's going 1. He can go anywhere after that. All right, you want to take, so-and-so over him? Fine, go for it. But Breece Hall, if he stays healthy, he's going to have a monster season. Let's not forget, no matter what you think about Aaron Rodgers, defense is going to respect him. Breece Hall is not going to see too many stuff boxes, right? He's not going to see too many 8-man boxes. All right, he's going to have his room to run here. We don't trust the offensive line. That will limit him somewhat. But the Jets offense, even if Rodgers isn't Rodgers, it's going to be better. The touchdown opportunity should be there for Breece Hall.
Okay, and then as far as we have Hall, we've talked about Wilson. Who do you think the 3rd best fantasy offensive option is on the Jets? Is there one, or it's just not clear cut?
I would probably have to say Lazard. I mean, and that, by the way, that's scary because he was a 0 last year. But if you're asking me the 3rd best, the question is not who's the 3rd best in the league. It's best on the Jets. I don't trust Mike Williams right now. Tyler Conklin, no. I think Rodgers will use Conklin, however, but maybe Jeremy Ruckert,
maybe it's Williams.
The young tight end comes out.
Maybe it's Williams. Yeah, maybe it is.
I think I would. I don't. If he doesn't get into chemistry with Rodgers here, I know Lazard and Rodgers have that chemistry. Rodgers will use Lazard, so I'm going to go Lazard.
Okay. I mean, they're saying that Williams is ahead of schedule, ready to go for the season. But again, a player that's been hurt a lot over the course of his career. All right, New England Patriots preview up next. Don't go away.
Recently, I feel like I'm not doing anything wrong. I'm not making bad swings. I don't feel like I'm making terrible decisions, and just had got a little bit of a streak of bad luck on par fives. Didn't birdie any of them at the Open, didn't birdie any of them today. It's just, and I didn't feel like I did anything terribly wrong, right? But that's just golf. It happens. What's done is done, and this week is the most important week of the year right now.
If he lands it pin high, he's going to be off over the pin position and leave himself a tough putt there. That should bite now. He didn't like it by the looks of it, but he'll love it when he sees it.
Just got this before that bunker. Put himself in a good position.
Just a tiny little baby fade, ideally placed.
To tie the lead at 16. Oh, he's playing well, isn't he, John Rahm?
And OMG, what a championship Sunday we just witnessed.
Win, right? Selfishly, you always want to get that done, but you don't want to see a teammate and a good friend, missing a putt for that happening for me.
The Live Golf League delivers every single event, doesn't it? I mean, what an incredible finish there. You know what, Tyrrell Hatton, I feel for him. He's been playing beautiful golf. In fact, since Miami, he's been the best player in our league based on the strokes gained metric.
I'm really happy that I had my first Live Golf win. Now that Kelly and the kids are watching, just knowing that I'm bringing the trophy home for them, it feels good to say that it's coming home.
All right, welcome back to Fantasy Sports Today here on SportsGrid. This is going to be a tough season if you're a New England Patriots fan. I mean, that's just, there's no other way around it. Tom Brady gone a few years ago, Bill Belichick gone now. It appears as though, and again, George, we'll see, but appears as though that they're not necessarily tanking, because I don't know that any team is doing that in sports in general, but they are not putting the best players on the field possible to win games this season, or they would have done a lot more. They did nothing. In fact, to start the season at quarterback, Drake May, who certainly will get his opportunity, George, to start at some point, it appears as though it's not going to start the season. And that means that a backup of some kind is going to start. And here comes Jacoby Brissett to start the season for the New England Patriots. Again, nothing against Brissett, who has played in the league for, it feels like 15 years. I don't know. I'd have to check that. He's bounced around the league quite a bit. But when you tell your fan base that this is who you're starting, what I think you're telling them is put that seatbelt on a little tighter, because this is going to be a really tough year for you coming up. George, they had their pick of backup quarterbacks. And again, nothing against this player, but this is not a player that's going to throw for 350 yards and 3 touchdowns, I don't think, in any game this season. This is going to be just get us through 4 quarters and let's go home.
Pretty much. All right. It's his 9th year in the league. He did start his career with New England before bouncing around to several other teams here. He, listen, he's that guy, he's replaceable. All right. And then Drake May will replace him when they feel he's ready. When that question is, I mean, that's anyone's guess here. You're looking at their schedule. You always look, is there an early bye week? Is there an early bye week? It's slide in right there. There's not. Their bye week is week 14. That's in December. That's nuts. All right. Other than that, I mean, I don't see May playing anywhere before October 6th. All right. They play with Jets and San Fran week 3 and 4. You want to avoid those 2 defenses, and you can get them there against October 6th against Miami, theoretically a weaker defense, Miami, Houston, Jacksonville. So for the New England Patriots, we know they're not going to be a good team. All right, that graphic we showed earlier, where they plus 2,500 to win a division, then you can put a plus 25 million. They're not winning a division. All right, and there's nothing wrong with that, by the way. It's of my belief, Craig, that you need to be one of 2 things in all sports, not just the NFL, Major League Baseball, NHL, NBA as well. You either need to be competing for a trophy, or you need to suck. All right, because you need to get those low draft picks. Being a middling team does you no good. where to be around a 7-win team, 7-10, 8-9. You don't make the playoffs and you don't get those top picks. So the fact that they're going to be terrible this year, I don't think it's a bad thing. I don't. And you get those complementary pieces around May. This season is all about developing May to make sure he's going to be your franchise quarterback for the next 10, 15, whatever years it might be here. So that's all that matters here. Now, granted, I think it's going to be a slow start, Greg. There's not much around him here. Outside of Stevenson, who is a solid running back, there's no wide receivers to speak of here. There's no really – I mean, I like Hunter Henry, but, we're not talking anywhere near Travis Kelce or Laporta type here. It's really going to move this offense. This team is a work in progress.
Yeah, and they drafted Keyshawn Boutte, and he's not going to be suspended, it looks like, for things that happened previous to this season at LSU. So maybe the Patriots ended up getting a little bit more out of a player that they didn't think. That would be a player at least to watch this season. Kendrick Bourne, right, George? I think Kendrick Bourne is another, potential wide receiver there. You mentioned Stevenson, but the Patriots, George, are going to be one of those teams where I think you're going to go through 10 rounds of your fantasy football draft and not a single Patriot's going to get taken offensively.
Oh, I think Stevenson will go earlier than that. All right. I have him as a running back too. And there's just not many running backs to go around here. So I think he'll go. After that, I mean, if we're talking what's going to straight league, we're not talking about a super flex league here. I don't know when anybody else goes here. I don't want much to do with anybody else. I'm trying to figure out anybody else I can figure out here. I mean, Bourne, Douglas, Polk, Osborne, Schuster. Those are your wide receivers. There's no reason to take anyone before round 10. All right, same thing with Hunter Henry. I know tight end is not the deepest position in the world, but unless you're starting two of them, you're not looking at Hunter Henry or Hooper before round 12, 13, 14. These are all late round dartboard shots here. There's a reason this team is where it is, right, that we don't expect big things from. They have a lot of work to do here. The defense is good. So that's another reason. I don't think they're going to take too many chances on offense because they're going to hope to play 17, 14 games where the other team makes a mistake in the fourth quarter and they can capitalize off that.
Yeah. No, a tough season's coming for them. And fantasy-wise, least options probably on the board in all of fantasy football with the New England Patriots. We go from the least maybe to the most. Coming up next, we look at the Miami Dolphins. They had a tough time on defense, but no problems on offense last year. We'll hit them next.
Recently, I feel like I'm not doing anything wrong. I'm not making bad swings. I don't feel like I'm making terrible decisions and just had got a little bit of a streak of bad luck on par fives. Didn't birdie any of them at the Open, didn't birdie any of them today. It's just, and I didn't feel like I did anything terribly wrong, right? But that's just golf. It happens. What's done is done, and this week is the most important week of the year right now.
If he lands it pin high, he's going to be off over the pin position and leave himself a tough putt there. That should bite now. He didn't like it by the looks of it, but he'll love it when he sees it.
Just got this before that bunker. Put himself in a good position.
Just a tiny little baby fade, ideally placed.
To tie the lead at 16. Playing well, isn't he, John Rahm?
And OMG, what a championship Sunday we just witnessed.
Win, right? Selfishly, you always want to get that done, but you don't want to see a teammate and a good friend missing a putt for that happening for me.
The Live Golf League delivers every single event, doesn't it? I mean, what an incredible finish there. You know what, Tyrrell Hatton, I feel for him. He's been playing beautiful golf. In fact, since Miami, he's been the best player in our league based on the strokes gained metric.
I'm really happy that I had my first Live Golf win. Now that Kelly and the kids are watching, just knowing that I'm bringing the trophy home for them, it feels good to say that it's coming home.
Well, one of the hottest offenses in fantasy and reality last season were the Miami Dolphins. It just didn't seem to matter who played for that team last year. They were just getting a ton of fantasy content and fantasy looks and fantasy points. And of course, with Tua back in the fold at quarterback, you would expect that to happen again. Tyreek Hill, Raheem Mostert, Devon Achane, all close to 100% owned in fantasy football, George. And the interesting part is going to be the running backs, I think, because I think as we look at it, we would say that Hill, there's really nothing to talk about. But Mostert, to me, had one of those lucky fantasy seasons, similar to maybe, Jamal Williams a couple of years ago. It's like, touchdowns are not really something that you can guarantee from year to year. And a lot of his value was on that. You're seeing Devon Achane just going so much further down than Mostert. Mostert's an RB2. I'm not sure where Achane ranks in. I mean, I know that his total as far as yards are concerned also really low as well. But from what I saw from Achane last year, I mean, a healthy Achane, I think he's going to crush Mostert this year.
Achane, I think, is the better back. All right. Everything you said is true, by the way. I think that's a great comparison, by the way, to Jamal Williams. I think Mostert's a better back than Jamal Williams was, but the touchdowns is very comparable. And then Jamal Williams hasn't sniffed that since. We know with Tyreek Hill, safeties are backing off. Everyone's backing off because they're all afraid to be made to look stupid by Tyreek Hill. All right, so that gives Mostert and Achane lots of room to run here. And we know Achane has plenty of speed in his own right? He's not all that much further behind Tyreek Hill as far as speed is concerned there. I do think he gets a bigger chance here. That being said, they're still going to come close to a split, right? So that's still an issue there. And to take one as I guess, so much better over the other here. But I have Achane ranked as a running back 2, top end running back 2. So he's just outside my top 12. Most are a little bit better than that. They're both guys you'll want. That's the bottom line. They're both guys you'll want there. The offense is going to cook. It should score points. I don't want to say at will, but they shouldn't have an issue here. Tua, I mean, I know that's the big thing here. Oh, yeah, I can't believe he got this amount of money. People get all upset about this. I don't know why, by the way. It's not your money. Is he the second best quarterback in the league? No, but that doesn't matter. Is Dak number 1? No. It's all about when you hit free agency. And they're going to push the envelope and be the next guy. All right, that's just the way it works. So I don't get all upset about this. Tua got the biggest contract, and then Love passed him the next day. I said Dak will pass him. The next guy who gets up will pass Dak. It's just the way it is in the NFL. So it is what it is. Tua is good enough to get the job done. As far as the regular season, as far as fantasy is concerned, I think he's a lot like Dak in the fact that he melts under pressure against better teams and in the playoffs, but we don't care about that. We only care about our fantasy season and the fantasy playoffs, and Tua is more than good enough to get the job done.
Yeah, and again, the fantasy scoring system is different for everyone. If you're playing in a league where interceptions are minus points, I always bring that up, like -2, like a touchdown is 6 and a pick, or a touchdown is 4 and a pick is -2. Tua has a different ranking in some leagues because he does throw a lot of interceptions. He throws 14. He threw 14 last year, so that's just important to note. Now, as far as Achane is concerned, his total on the season over on FanDuel is 775 rushing yards. George, he almost did that in 3 games last year. So you're telling me that if he's healthy for 17 or 16 or 15, that he's not going to go over 1,000 yards? I mean, I don't know. This number seems wrong.
Got to do a little quick math here. All right, that's 46 yards a game if he plays 17. I don't think he plays 17. I've discussed this all show, right? I don't know if I'm excuse me. I don't know if I'm going to assume any player plays 17. All right, especially a running back here. So, but even if let's just say here, 775 divided by, well, let's say 14, just for giggles here. That's 55 yards a game. Craig, if he's not hitting that, something happened. He got hurt. He got badly hurt. They're going to use him, right? He'd have to have a major injury here. Yes, give me the over on Achane and that totally. I think that's very low, extremely low here. I said, we can play this game with anybody. He gets hurt, of course he's not going to reach it, but anybody gets hurt, they don't reach their number here. I'll take the over with the chain.
Yeah, I mean, Mostert's a good back to have, but Achane was a different level when he was in there last year. Meanwhile, Tua did get paid, as was reported earlier this week, over $40 million at the beginning of the week, and has been crushed ever since. It seems like on social media. And I think, George, what people just don't understand is 2 opinions that I would have with this. The first opinion is that if you are a top 15 quarterback in the NFL, you're getting paid a lot of money because there are not 30 good quarterbacks in the NFL. I don't know why people have such a hard time understanding this. It's the most important position in sports. And you're the top 15 in the world, you're going to get your $40-50 million. It is going to happen. And then the second part about this entire thing, it is not as much as how good you are. It's about you're about to become a free agent. So if you can become a top 15 guy, George, I would contend that if he had a similar season this year and next, and he became a free agent, George, he'd get more than $40 million from another team. I mean, did we not see what happened with Kirk Cousins this offseason? If you're a free agent quarterback and you can play among the top 50% among your competitors, you're going to get the bag.
Agreed. That's just the way it works in the NFL. All right, it's just the way it works. And plus, as most teams have to figure out, all right, if Miami didn't want to pay Tua, who's quarterbacking the team? It's not like quarterbacks just grow on trees here. We'll have this guy start. Atlanta got lucky that Kirk Cousins happened to be a free agent. And Kirk Cousins, by the way, Cousins, Tua, Dak, they're probably all the same guy. All right, they're good quarterbacks, sure, top 15 quarterbacks, but they all melt in big games. But if you don't have these guys, then you have nobody. All right, then you have nothing to sell to your fans. All right, so it's just the way it is. These guys are top 15 guys. I have Tua in my Dynasty League. And it's a 16-team league, so I'm fine with that. It's only one quarterback start. I know he's good enough. Will he have some duds? Sure. Is he going to throw some interceptions? Sure. But I think in that league, it's 4 points for a touchdown pass, but only -1 for a pick, which I kind of like a little bit better than -2 for a guy like Tua. I can survive that. He doesn't run like we'd like him, but he's going to have some monster gains because Tyreek Hill's going to break a couple.
That's right.
And he's not an awful quarterback. All right, he's a good, solid quarterback. Yes, he has sometimes trouble throwing past outside the numbers. So, we can nitpick every quarterback here. I'm not worried about Tua, not in fantasy world. If I was a Miami Dolphin fan, sure, I might be worried about him leading me to a Super Bowl. But we can say that probably about 20 quarterbacks. There's only about maybe 7, 8 that I truly trust that can lead me to a Super Bowl.
Yeah, I'm not concerned. I don't get the whole Tua's average bad thing. I've never gotten it. I don't understand it. But what I do understand is fantasy wise, you lose points for picks. He's a different guy than in another league where you don't. Who's going to win the AFC East, George? Here it is. You can change your opinion before the season starts, by the way. But I don't like the Jets number, so it's Buffalo or Miami for me. How about you?
I think betting wise, I'll take the value and I'll take Miami. All right, I think it's very close to Buffalo, Jets, Miami here. So give me the value in Miami. It's funny, they probably have the least amount of question marks. I think that's another reason why I kind of like them. Buffalo, I trust their defense. I just don't like the wide receiver core at all. And a lot of pressure on Josh Allen. You mentioned earlier when we discussed Buffalo, he threw a lot of interceptions last year. He can't do that this year. All right, because they don't have, I guess, the leeway to get away with that here. The Jets, I don't know what Aaron Rodgers is going to give you. I don't. If I was positive about Rodgers, I would probably pick them, but I'm not. So I'm going to go Miami to win the division. Like I said, I'm taking mainly the value here at the plus 220. So give me Miami. I'd probably go Miami, Buffalo, Jets. New England's the only one I feel great about. They are finishing last. They're not going to get under. Look at their schedule. Where's their win coming from? Forget 5 wins. They're under their win total.
Yeah. At the end of the season, again, remember when Miami played, Miami, was tanking, trading everybody, George, and then first game of the season, I think they lost like 50-0 to Baltimore, and they're going to go 0-16. They lost the first 4 or 5 games, and at the end of the season, they ended up winning like 5 games that year. They beat New England at the end of the year, so nothing is ever guaranteed with that. Here's what's guaranteed. We got buy or sell coming up next here on Fantasy Sports Today. So stay with us here on SportsGrid. By the way, Joe Ranieri coming up top of the hour with Game Time Decisions.
Recently, I feel like I'm not doing anything wrong. I'm not making bad swings. I don't feel like I'm making terrible decisions, and just had got a little bit of a streak of bad luck on par fives. Didn't birdie any of them at the Open, didn't birdie any of them today. It's just, and I didn't feel like I did anything terribly wrong, right? But that's just golf. It happens. What's done is done, and this week is the most important week of the year right now.
If he lands it pin high, he's going to be off over the pin position and leave himself a tough putt there. That should bite now. He didn't like it by the looks of it, but he'll love it when he sees it.
Just got this before that bunker. Put himself in a good position.
Just a tiny little baby fade, ideally placed.
To tie the lead at 16. Oh, he's playing well, isn't he, John Rahm?
And OMG, what a championship Sunday we just witnessed.
Win, right? Selfishly, you always want to get that done, but you don't want to see a teammate and a good friend, missing a putt for that happening for me.
The Live Golf League delivers every single event, doesn't it? I mean, what an incredible finish there. You know what, Tyrrell Hatton, I feel for him. He's been playing beautiful golf. In fact, since Miami, he's been the best player in our league based on the strokes gained metric.
I'm really happy that I had my first Live Golf win. Now that Kelly and the kids are watching, just knowing that I'm bringing the trophy home for them, it feels good to say that it's coming home.
Welcome back to Fantasy Sports Today here on SportsGrid. It is time now for us to dive into some hot topics in fantasy and reality. It's time now for some buy or sell. George, you know what that looks like to me? We got a new graphics package, by the way, for those of you who didn't know. Very sexy, I would call it. It's right there. Buy or sell. That looks like, what is that show, that game show? What is the one with Howie? What is the name of it?
Let's make a deal.
No, that's not it.
Deal or no deal?
Deal or no deal? Put that back up. Yes. Doesn't that look like Deal or No Deal? No?
I didn't really watch that show. It's funny though. I did play it on the cruise though. They had it on the cruise, but don't they have like 20 of those things, not just 2?
I know, but
I get where you're going.
Doesn't it look like it a little bit? No.
It does, because it's funny when you were thinking about it. I'm like, I wonder if he's talking about Deal or No Deal. Or so yeah, I guess you're right, because that's the first show that came to my mind as well.
Okay, all right. So let's play a little buy or sell, and let's get started. We'll start off with the New York Jets, and the New York Jets. Our first question of the day is: will the Jets will make it to the playoffs this season? Is this buy or sell?
Well, I didn't have them winning the division, right? So that knocks that out. So it'll be Buffalo, Jets, let's just say Baltimore. I'm not really worried about anybody else, right? Nobody in the West, I think, makes it outside of Kansas City. I'm taking Houston to win the division, and maybe Jacksonville. Pretty much those 3. And they're Cleveland, Pittsburgh. I'm going to say yes. They'll be the last playoff team. They'll be they better, by the way, because if they don't make the playoffs, I think Rodgers will be gone out of New York here, out of New Jersey, and move on. But I'm gonna buy this. It's not a big buy. I'm certainly not guaranteeing this, but it depends on where you fall in the Aaron Rodgers thing. Like I said, the 85%, 80%. If he's 80% or better, they make the playoffs. If he's less than 80%, they don't. If he plays, I don't think he's plays 17. If he plays more than 13 and a half, good. Less than 13 and a half, bad. It just goes down to that for me. They do have a much better backup quarterback this year than last. I'm going to buy this, Craig, but I do not feel great about it because, like I said, it's Rodgers, Hall, Wilson. All 3 of those guys need to play more often than not, and play well.
Yeah, I think I'm going to selling this. I don't know what it is that people are so bullish on the Jets for. And look, Aaron Rodgers is a critical component to any NFL team. But to me, he's no longer one of those first few guys, top 3, 4 that you just insert automatically at the age of 26 or 27 or 35, and you become a playoff team. I am going to sell the Jets. I think they'll be better than last year. By the way, did I get that win total right on my guess also, that they won 6 games last year? Was that correct? Or okay, we're going to check that out. I guessed 6. I don't remember off the top of my head, but that's what I guess. I'll say the Jets win 9 and 8, and they don't make it. They won 7 last year, Sam says. So they win 2 more than last year. I think that's what he's worth. 9 wins. That's not enough to get in the playoffs this year.
I might say this.
All right.
If you're not going to put the Jets in, who are you putting in? That's why. That's
okay,
why
so we're going to play that game real quick. All right. So this is not going to be easy for me because I'm not ready for it, but I'll try. So I'll have Buffalo in. I'll have Miami in. Okay, so that's 2. I'll have Cleveland in. They get in every year, and I don't even know who they have. But yes, they're in every year. I have Baltimore.
Okay, fair.
I have Cleveland's a very well-coached team. I have Baltimore. I have Cleveland. That's 4. And then
Cincinnati?
the West. Oh, right. That's 5. And then the West, I have...
Yeah, 2 division winners. There's your 7. You're
Kansas
good.
City, right? No other team from the West.
Nope. You have Cleveland in over. You have Cleveland and I have the Jets, and I think that's fair. By the way,
I can't figure out how they do it, but at the end of the year, they got 11 wins. So
I think you can make an
are they any
argument, by the
different
way,
than
that
last year?
Cleveland 1 to 53 is the best team in the NFL. I think
Who?
1 to 53, Cleveland might be the best team in the NFL.
Yeah,
the problem is we
they're
don't
always
trust Deshaun
there.
Watson.
Maybe that's not fair. Someone's watching going, what is he saying? They're always there. They're not always there. I'm just saying the last couple of years, they don't have the sexiest roster or team, but you look up and they're like winning every game, like 19-17. So they're obviously well coached. And this was without Watson doing anything. So I don't know. I think Cleveland's better than the Jets. All right, let's go to this one. Ooh, this is a tough one for me. I have to do this one? All right, Jazz Chisholm Jr. traded from the Marlins to the Yankees. Buy or sell, Jazz Chisholm Jr. will prove to be the most meaningful player at the trade deadline.
I mean, the Yankees were going to make the playoffs anyway. I'm going to say this is probably a sell only because I don't think the Yankees are going to go deep into the playoffs and win the World Series. And it'll be that player that becomes the most important, right? Maybe it's Flaherty on the Dodgers. You know, could easily be him if the Dodgers win the World Series to give him that extra starting pitcher. Maybe it's Eflin going to the Baltimore Orioles for the same reason there. Once again, gives them that extra pitcher. Maybe Kikuchi brings the Astros to the playoffs, and maybe that becomes the most significant addition there. So I'm going to listen. I love, as a Yankee fan, love Jazz. I absolutely love it. I think he's a lot of fun. You and I talked earlier in the show. He reminds me a lot of Mickey Rivers when I was younger. So I think he's going to be great with the Yankees, but I don't think he changes their future all that much this season.
The most meaningful player moved at the trade deadline. Right now, the answer is buy. Will the answer be buy in 2 months is the question. I'm going to say sell. I'm going to say, we were able to switch that. That was good. I'm going to say sell. Wait, buy. I'm going back to buy. Go back to buy. No, sell. Sell. Give me sell. There it is. Got new graphics. We're just playing around here on the show. I'm saying sell. It'll be Flaherty. Jack Flaherty. New York Mets will make a World Series run this year, George. Buy or sell?
Oh, sell. Sell. No, they don't have the pitching staff to do that. I think they might swing into the playoffs, yeah, but that's about it. Sell.
Same thing. A non-quarterback will finish top 3 in MVP voting this season. Buy or sell?
Sure, why not? I'll buy. Probably not. It's a quarterback-driven award here, but sure.
Never. Sell. We'll be back to wrap it up.
recently, I feel like I'm not doing anything wrong. I'm not making bad swings. I don't feel like I'm making terrible decisions, and just had got a little bit of a streak of bad luck on par fives. Didn't birdie any of them at the Open, didn't birdie any of them today. It's just, and I didn't feel like I did anything terribly wrong, right? But that's just golf. It happens. What's done is done, and this week is the most important week of the year right now.
If he lands it pin high, he's going to be off over the pin position and leave himself a tough putt there. That should bite now. He didn't like it by the looks of it, but he'll love it when he sees it.
Just got this before that bunker. Put himself in a good position.
Just a tiny little baby fade, ideally placed.
To tie the lead at 16. Playing well, isn't he, John Rahm?
And OMG, what a championship Sunday we just witnessed.
Win, right? Selfishly, you always want to get that done, but you don't want to see a teammate and a good friend, missing a putt for that happening for me.
The Live Golf League delivers every single event, doesn't it? I mean, what an incredible finish there. You know what, Tyrrell Hatton, I feel for him. He's been playing beautiful golf. In fact, since Miami, he's been the best player in our league based on the strokes gained metric.
I'm really happy that I had my first Live Golf win. Now that Kelly and the kids are watching, just knowing that I'm bringing the trophy home for them, it feels good to say that it's coming home.
All right, what a game last night for Blake Snell. Ends up throwing a no-hitter for the San Francisco Giants. In fact, he's now, according to Sarah Langs, the third pitcher with 25-plus strikeouts, fewer hits, no runs allowed in a two-outing span since 1901, joining Max Scherzer, who, by the way, just went on the injured list again yesterday, and Randy Johnson back in 2001. I think for George, for moments of Blake Snell's career, this is going to sound crazy. He's been the best pitcher in baseball for moments in his career, like weeks. A week here, a week there, 2 weeks here, 2 weeks there. I think that's why teams are just still so bullish on him.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. Right, he's won a couple of Cy Young awards here. It was a great game last night. The interview after the game, by the way, was hilarious because when they dumped the water on him, they forgot to take the cover off and they knocked him on the head with it. And I don't think he was all that thrilled about it. I don't think he was all that thrilled about getting his gloves soaked as well. He's like, "Oh, I need this glove for next game." There's so many people dry it off, but it was great. Great performance last night. The other outing was when he had 15 strikeouts out of the 18 outs in 6 innings. That was amazing.
Right.
So he's hot right now. He's hot. I'm still surprised, Craig, they didn't trade him. I say he's got that player option. He's not coming back next year. And as you said, and I agree, they're not making the playoffs. So you probably should have dealt him to get whatever you could have gotten for him. Might have been a top starting pitcher on the market. Maybe could have gone back to San Diego, Dodgers. Hell, I thought maybe the Orioles would be in the market for him as well here. So a little surprised he's still a Giant.
Yeah, I am too. So is it true he had a player? For some reason, I'm not familiar with his contract. Did you say that it's a 1 year and then he can opt out, or does he have a multi-year? Oh, he does. Oh,
he has a player option for, I think it's $30 million offhand, 30 or 31 million.
He may have taken that though. He may have taken that. Maybe teams are afraid of that. I don't know. I don't know. A portion of what you're saying, I think, George, is correct. It's hard right now as teams don't know what their projected payroll is for next year to take on that kind of money right now. That's what I would say. I think that's part of it. Braves, I think, were a little different with Soler, looking at Ozuna becoming maybe a free agent. I think that's why they did that. Okay, so now it's time for us to get ready to wrap it up and send it over to Joe Ranieri. We got the SportsGrid 60 seconds of commentary from George and myself. We'll let George lead it off. George, go ahead.
All right, Hall of Fame game, right? We saw that Thursday night here. And by the way, why was I not surprised that game ended up being canceled, postponed due to rain? Seems like that happens a lot to the Hall of Fame game. But that's not what I want to talk about. The new kickoff rule. Which, granted, I didn't really think. I think it's weird. It's certainly a weird setup to see these, I guess, the tacklers so close to where the ball is going to land, but they can't start till the ball is caught, touched. It's just strange. Nothing happened with it on Thursday. And by the way, I don't think that's a surprise. We're not going to see the gimmicks or the plans, the strategy until week 1. That's when the special teams coordinators will show you what they have up their sleeve here. I'm willing to give it a shot, Greg. I am. I'll be the first person to tell you, hey, kickoff, all right, we can go to the bathroom, go get a snack, go check on the dog, check on my family, whatever it was. Kickoffs were boring. So maybe this does add to it. The NFL saying it's there to reduce injury. I don't buy that whatsoever. I don't think they're worried about that one little bit here. That's not what the NFL is about. That's all in my mind, just them just talking to you. But I'm willing to give it a shot, Greg. We'll see what happens here, but it was kind of dull and insignificant in the Hall of Fame game.
Yeah, I would agree. First game, though. Next game coming up on Thursday. All right, one thing that we don't talk about a ton here because it's not fantasy related are the Olympic Games in Paris. And, certainly a lot of people are watching. Ratings are going up. I think the coolest thing for me, I'll end on a positive note, that comes out of the Olympic Games are stars. Michael Phelps was a star. We've had so many different people in the past, gymnasts, athletes come out of it, and then we all remember them. And for me, the one that at least is shining the brightest here and a really cool story is Katie Ledecky in the swimming pool. Like, I think that you go into an Olympic game. Look, she's been good before, okay? And she's breaking all kinds of records now at the Olympics Games. It's not that she wasn't great, but now it's historic. And she's going to come out of this Paris Olympics being one of the best Olympiads of all time at her sport. To me, that's the one part of this that I don't think gets discussed enough, just because we focus so much on professional athletes as opposed to Olympiads. So congrats to her. And for all of her accomplishments, I think medaling more than any woman ever has at the Olympic Games in the pool. So congrats to her. All right, that will do it for the show today. Thanks again to Sam for producing. Thanks again to my co-host, George Jurtz. I'll be off next week. Show goes on, Joe Pisapia and George. Then I'll be back with you guys in 2 weeks for our next edition of Fantasy Sports Today. George, have yourself a good weekend. I'll see you again next week or in 2 weeks.
Absolutely. Hope everybody enjoys, has a great weekend as well. Enjoy the rest of the Olympics. Baseball, football returns full time next week.
That's right. George Kurtz, Craig Mish. We're out of here. Coming up next, Joe Ranieri, Game Time Decisions. Have a great weekend, everybody. See you then.
Technically, despite having the most wins in both the AL and all of Major League Baseball, 52 of them for New York, no longer the best winning percentage.
You expect your front offices to hit that gas pedal when it comes time to get a better team on the field post All-Star break, because the one thing that you know from the Yankees and the Orioles is what, Ben? You're going to fight with each other throughout the stretch here, and you want home field advantage.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
This guy is the mad scientist. I mean, he's all about green density. So in my mind, I feel like he's going to have the green speeds dialed in, and the angles needs to land them and all that sort of stuff. I feel like he's going to be a good spot and playing the course well. And he's going to be hitting less club into a lot of these par threes too. So I just, we're talking about using a live guy. I love Bryson this week. I'm riding with Bryson.
Only on SportsGrid.
This new sports integrity partnership, Genius Sports, is involved in this. More protection.
They said that's going to allow them to beef up their protection and add more integrity monitoring tools to essentially catch bad behavior before it happens. This comes, obviously, after a just ton of scandals we've had across sports betting lately, whether it's the MLB umpire, Pat Hobert.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Despite me being a Yankee fan, I think Joe would deserve the label as Aaron Judge's biggest fan, not through any bias, but just through the amount of money that he's made anybody who's been betting on him.
I just had him for that home run, and I'm going to go back to it today. That home run coming in at plus 230. Max Fried here, while he has been strong, this is Aaron Judge.
Game Time Decisions, only on SportsGrid.